everyone, welcome to Spiritual Waffle. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about hot and cold therapies. So,
Let's start by saying that neither of us are experts on art, which we
100%.
realised when we were thinking about what we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
We are not experts.
No.
We're just going to talk about the knowledge that we currently have and our experiences, like with really most of the
Everything.
other podcasts that we do.
Everything.
And then at some point, there'll be some great people that we can get on who actually do know what they're talking about.
Exactly. But we should get all of our waffly
Get our
stuff
waffling out
out
now.
of the way.
Otherwise, we'll just waffle all over them.
Exactly. Really, we need to
Waffle
hear.
all over their expertise. Let's get ours out of the way.
So, what is hot therapy?
So hot therapy was kind of saunas,
Yeah.
right? It's just increasing the level. It doesn't count, I don't think, hot therapy just being in a country like India. I don't
No.
think that really counts.
Kind of
I
felt
think-
like I was in a sauna.
Yeah,
lots of
it does
times there.
often. And when we have the occasional heat wave in the UK, maybe it feels like hot therapy. But it's going into a sauna
Mhm.
or maybe a sweat lodge.
Mhm.
That is the hot therapy.
So it's like extreme hot temperatures.
Steam as well. I think you could probably count that
I
as
would.
hot.
I like a bit of steam.
I like a bit of steam. They're more like that's more of a spa-y thing, whereas the saunas have got, I think have got more history along with sweat lodges, for other purposes. But yeah, hot sauna, steam, sweat lodge.
Nailed it.
Thanks.
Cold therapy.
Mm-hmm. Cold therapy can be a cold plunge.
Mm-hmm.
It can be cold water of any kind. The shower, a cold bath, going in the sea. Anything that is the water is cold would be described as cold therapy.
Yes. Any particular temperatures, I guess?
Good question. So for saunas, my belief is that you can have saunas you can have saunas any temperature really, especially if it's your own sauna. You can do whatever the hell you like. But between sort of 70 degrees and 110 or 120
Celsius.
Celsius.
Okay.
Yeah. Not Christ, not
Fuck.
Why would you work in
Sorry.
Fahrenheit?
Don't know, but when
Why
you
would you even ask that
Google
question?
does. Google loves Fahrenheit.
Does
Everything's in
it?
it totally freaks me out. Yeah.
That's so weird because
Okay,
it
so
goes
just
up to like
clarifying.
300 or something. Why two metric? Let's do
I
the
know.
one. Yeah. I prefer my saunas 120.
Okay.
That is my like peak goodness, but I think I like to push it a little bit hard. But
It's a bit hardcore, that.
it is quite hardcore, and often I think maybe the dial. I'm picturing the dial in Kathy's sauna at the farm. I think it goes up to 140, but it hasn't gone past 120. So like around that, kind of 100, I would say is quite a good one. But
Okay.
again, just because the steam when you pour in a sauna, when you pour the water on the rocks,
Mhm.
on the stones, the steam creates a huge spike in the heat, in the temperature going up.
Yeah.
So if you're in a sauna and you are struggling with the heat and somebody says, do you mind if I put water on the stones? Your answer will be no. I do not want it because I'm already struggling.
Yeah.
And then cold wise, so for Greg and I, we have our cold plunge, not currently. It's more like a paddling pool at the moment, but we have it set to like 8 degrees, between 6 and 8 degrees.
Okay.
But cold therapy can be from like, it's recommended like between 10 and 15, which never sounds that cold.
But it
Because
is
because if you're outside and it's 15 degrees,
Yeah.
fine, balmy.
But if you get in
But
the
it's
sea, it's
cold.
like take your breath away.
Cold.
Yeah.
But just whatever you can work with. I've heard on a lot of occasions that you stay in the cold water for as many minutes as that is temperature wise. So if it's if it's 6 degrees,
Yeah.
don't stay in longer than 6 minutes. But
Okay.
even 6 minutes is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
So when we first got the cold plunge and we had the machine that goes with it that cools it down and keeps it at a certain temperature, we were doing 3 degrees or 2 degrees, but which was fine because you'd go in there and do like 5 deep breaths and be like, that's okay for me. But yeah, the higher the temperature, normally the longer you can stay in it for.
Okay.
And the safer it'll be.
And so why, Jess? Why
Good
do we do these things?
question.
What is the purpose?
Well, it feels really good. It feels so good. Maybe not at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume because I am not a runner, although I have run once a year for the last 5 years. So that's pretty impressive. That's 5 years. Pretty much a pro now. It doesn't feel very good at the time necessarily, but it's the after effects that are the thing that keep people coming back for more.
So what are the after effects of like a sauna? The hot
Why are you
stuff.
so obsessed with
I don't
water?
know. I think if we're going to talk about it,
Let's talk about
can
it.
we just start talking about water? It's
So
my
for
favorite
goodness sake.
subject.
Oh. Oh, because the next podcast is going to be about water. Oh, okay. It's always water.
I've moved on.
You already have. You're so quick.
Hot and cold, done.
So saunas. There's so many benefits for saunas, but what happens like scientifically in your body is that your blood vessels open, so it promotes blood flow essentially. I mean, in its simplest form, that's what it does. And because of that, it can reduce pain, and it aids healing.
Mm.
So aside from the fact that you just feel absolutely excellent coming out of a sauna, um, also I think, and this goes for saunas and cold therapy, is the mental battle that you have to go through,
Mm.
and it does get easier for sure. But when you first start going into sauna, into hot saunas and into cold plunges, there is an element of you just thinking, I can't do this. Like this is so. Why am I doing this for fun? This is actual like this is fresh hell. This is some kind of torture. But if you teach yourself to breathe through it, and especially if you have with saunas, if you have a good facilitator that you're doing it with, or if you're doing like a traditional Finnish sauna and they have pietis, which
Mhm.
is when they have like oak leaves or birch leaves that they've foraged, and then you hit it on your skin so that the oils from the leaves leave like a residue on your skin. It's really good for your skin.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
I
got like
wonder why they
loads
did
of
that.
healing properties, and it brings your blood to the surface as well. So
Ah.
again, just it is promoting that yeah, good, really good and healthy blood flow. If there's any sort of like stagnant parts of your body that are being caused by inflammation or anything, then that can really help with the blood flow. But yeah, especially in cold water, it's a real mental battle, as you
Mhm.
know, to stay in it for any length of time, because what your body wants to do is take a big deep breath in and then take
Get the
really
hell out.
short, yeah, get the hell out of there, take really short, sharp breaths. But especially if you're doing it with someone, and we'd like to say that we are neither scientists nor doctors nor experts in this field. So if you're doing it for the first time, then please do it with a partner or somebody there that can help you if you need. You have to, you can't just allow your body and your breath to do whatever it feels naturally to do, because it will be a deep breath and then
Mhm.
like this, like going, everybody can picture that, going into the sea when you thought it was going to be a nice temperature, but actually it's really cold, not very nice. But you have to get a handle of yourself, and you have to be able to breathe really slowly. And it's amazing seeing, so when Greg and I went to we didn't do the thing at the beginning. We didn't do our. We'll do it at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, a little. Yes, we're gonna. We forgot. Oh my god, we've
I know
forgotten. This
what
is the
went through
waffle
your
part of the
brain.
podcast. We've forgotten to say the thing that we've done recently. We'll do that at the end. We're
But it is
gonna.
relevant, so
It
you
is
could say it now.
relevant. Yes, it is relevant. But I'm not going to say it now because it'll throw me off. When Greg and I went to a festival last year, and Lumi were there, Lumi
Yes.
cold plunges, and there was a great girl called Ella there, and she was guiding people through their cold plunges. And within, you think that you're not going to be able to stay in it for any length of time, and within probably about 3 to 4 breaths, you manage to calm your whole nervous system down, and
Mhm.
it's really quite. We like hang out with her quite a lot, mainly because it was so hot that I just wanted to be there all the time. It's really amazing to see people fully panic
Mhm.
and fully think, oh my god, I need to get out, like their knee-jerk reactions, get me the hell out of here, and to like do it quickly.
Yeah.
Within 4 breaths they can start to relax and calm down, and they know that. And what's great for people in that moment, it's like the same doing cold showers, is you think to yourself, I can't do this. I
Mhm.
absolutely can't do this. I need to get out. But then there's just something in your brain that goes, no, 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 I can. I absolutely can. And especially if you're doing cold therapy in the morning in particular, it like it sets you up for the day because you've already overcome something.
Yeah.
Like how often can we say that in a day where we're just working, and maybe got 9 to 5 job, and we've you know gone to the gym, or just done a very mundane start to the day. You get to sort of maybe 5 p.m. and you don't necessarily feel like you've overcome something
Mm.
difficult. But if you've already at 6 o'clock, 6:37 a.m. got up, got straight into a cold plunge, or straight into a cold shower, and overcome like a
A
fear,
fear.
yeah, basically
Mm.
a fear,
I was
then
terrified,
just
absolutely
that the
terrified of it.
confidence that you get after it, you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're buzzing
You're
anyway. It's all
buzzing.
about the
It's
afterglow.
so much better. Way better than any coffee
Yeah.
that I have ever had. And I found that when we were doing it regularly, as regularly as my cycle would allow, I, I didn't need caffeine. I mean, I don't need caffeine anyway, as you can tell. But I really, really didn't need caffeine because what caffeine does is you have the great high, you then get the great low.
Mm.
With cold water therapy, you get the great high and you sustain it,
Yeah.
and it just slowly peters off. It doesn't drop you down
Yeah.
below your boundary.
Yeah. And cold water therapy is different to hot water, like the what we were saying about your blood vessels in the
Yeah,
hot, they vasodilate, they
yeah,
get bigger,
bigger.
and then they contract, they vasoconstrict in
The
cold
cold
water
water.
therapy, which means that the benefits I think are a bit different.
Yeah.
Tell us about them, please.
So what's really great about the cold water therapy is it can help with inflammation, and getting if you're just doing cold water therapy, as you said, the vasoconstriction happens when you're in cold water. And then as soon as you get out, your blood vessels will open up again. And that promotes the blood flow to go to especially an injured area of your body. So if you're working with something in particular, like a knee, you've got dodgy knees or dodgy back, it can be amazing to promote that healing. I met a lady who suffers with fibromyalgia, so
Mm.
pain,
Awful.
absolutely rotten. She found that doing cold water therapy every day, she didn't bother with the hot,
Mm.
cold water therapy every day meant that she could be for about 6 to 8 hours afterwards completely pain free.
Wow.
It would then slowly start to come back,
Yeah.
but it was the only thing that worked.
Gosh.
The only thing that worked.
Yeah.
So she had to religiously every single day,
Mm.
and it had to be very cold.
Yes, and obviously then you get people like Wim Hof who
Yeah.
have exceeded all kinds of expectations
Yeah, no,
through
he's a
cold water
wizard, Harry.
therapy and climbs Everest pretty much naked.
Yeah.
And also they did quite a lot of blood studies, if I remember correctly, around COVID because he asked to be injected with COVID so that
Yeah.
he could show how he could remove COVID
Yeah.
from his body simply with the breath work that he does and the cold water
Yeah.
therapy as well. And so, it is I think what I find interesting though, we were talking about it was that with hot water, that whatever, that hot therapy thing, that does something different to the blood vessels, and is a bit more, feels a bit more soothing. Whereas I did do the ice baths with Wim Hof. He was at a festival that I was at a few years back. And I'm not gonna lie, when you get in there, like it's painful. And not
Mm.
like pain that you're even like, oh yeah, it's a bit painful. It's like, no, it's like thousands and thousands of knives are stabbing in every single bit of your body. Like, ow, like I felt like I was gonna come out and be bleeding. Like it felt like that's what should be happening. Um, and actually that aspect of it where it puts your body into the sympathetic nervous system, which is like the stress response. It's
Yeah.
like stressing the shit out of your body, as opposed to most of the other practices that we do are all
Parasympathetic.
about putting you in the
Mm-hmm.
parasympathetic, which I find fascinating that that's actually like a good thing for your
It's a good
body.
stressor,
Mm.
which is difficult to understand because for a long time, certainly doing my yoga teach training and my meditation, at no point was I told that to stress your body out is a good thing and
Mm.
it is actually necessary for your overall bodily health and function.
Mm.
But it's how you're stressed, it's how you come back from that stress, and
And
it's
how long
and
you're
how
stressed
long you're
for.
in it for.
Mm.
Because the problem now is that we are all in a state of chronic stress, which is like low level. It's like a low hum,
Mm.
like your fridge that I can hear, just always there. And we're never able to bring ourselves back down to a really truly like foundational state of peace. It's always there. But if we're in control and we are in the driving seat of our life and we decide that we're going to use hot and cold therapy, or cold therapy in particular, to stress out our bodies, all of the same functions will happen physiologically, but we can control it and we can breathe
Mm.
through it and we can come out, reap all the benefits without getting any of the nasty inflammations or all of the knock-on side effects. And saunas as well, amazing for, I mean, cold water is really good for athletes, if there are any athletes out there. Saunas actually are great for if anyone's doing anything like if there's laborers out there or anyone that works with their body, like I know Eddie from the farm, if he's had a really long day like shoveling shit or whatever, the sauna will be his first port of call, more so than the cold plunge, because it relaxes your muscles.
Yeah.
And again, just aiding healing, all of this stuff, like it's not necessarily going to fix you, because it's not just one thing that you have to do. It has to be a holistic practice where you're doing as many other things as you can to help heal you. But my God, does it help? Like in a
And
massive
it's
way.
it's not like it's new either, is it? Like this, the history of it dates way
Like
back and beyond.
how many things, I don't know if you find this with uh, I do get the sense where there's new things that pop up, like saunas, new things, and people are like, oh, well, this new age hippie stuff. And you're like, but these, if
Really
we want
old
to talk about
age.
new age, let's talk about AI.
Yeah.
AI is new age. This stuff is ancient. Like I think, and don't quote me on this, I think saunas have been so came originally from Finland. They've been around for thousands of years, like 7,000 BC, I think was the first.
Wow.
And I mean, that's the first like indication that there was a sauna, let alone if there was actually ones before that have been since been destroyed for whatever reason.
In the Bronze Age.
In the Bronze Age,
We
no,
should teach that. Is that Bronze Age?
no, Bronze Age is cold plunges.
Oh.
Cold water therapy has been used since the Bronze Age
Wow.
in ancient cultures all over the world. So saunas have kind of been Finnish, and then cold plunges. I mean, you look at anywhere like the Roman baths,
Of
in
course.
China, in Egypt, and all exclusively for medicinal purposes with the cold plunges. Um, Sweat lodges as well is quite interesting, because they've been used, like it's Native American culture that it comes from, um, and there has been this was the yeah this was the Bronze Age. Yes, sorry, this was the Bronze Age, and we were talking about it earlier. It's not the cold water therapy. The Bronze Age is when the earliest
Sweat lodge.
sweat lodge has been found in the UK.
What? In the
Yeah, in the
UK?
UK. In
And
the UK.
you've done quite a few little sweat lodges. Tell us about them because they're slightly a more spiritual take on it as opposed
Yeah,
to just walk in and get hot and
yeah, yeah,
walk out
yeah.
again.
So we will hopefully get on Andreas, who does our sweat lodges at Lakemead Farm with Firelight. But the sweat lodge that we did for the spring equinox, it was a really beautiful day. We had maybe like 10 people there, and we foraged some willow branches, and you all together as a team make the lodge.
Wow.
And the lodge is a dome shape, and it's said to depict the womb of a mother, to remind you of like your connection to Mother Earth when you go through the experience. So it's sort of like take one branch over, then take another branch over, just like step by step. It's not that if you sat in the middle of it and there was nothing on it, you would get wet if it rained. So it's not like, a proper house or anything. You can't live in it. And there's often some other sweat lodges that I've done have been like dug out of the ground, but this one was just on the land. And then you put loads of blankets and like sort of stones on top to make sure that the heat stays in, but it's completely pitch black. And then you have a fire outside, and you have somebody who's the fire keeper, and yeah, Andreas sort of took everybody into the yurt on the farm, Charlotte's yurt, and did like sort of an opening ceremony, and sort of called in the animal spirits, sort of help, and everybody said their intentions and brought a gift for the firekeeper, and that was all really beautiful. And then you go in and you have different doors depending on the tradition of the person who is facilitating the sweat lodge. So you have, you could be singing songs, and it's all different. So Andreas, he learned in Scotland, but he also learned with like Native American traditions, and so what he brings is this sort of like melting pot of different cultures, and with his own experience as well. So he's amazing. He's very unique to be able to let sit with him and do these sweat lodges. But can be different every time depending on what kind of season it is and what's happening in the lunar cycle and astrologically and all that sort of stuff, and what land you're on. And you can sing songs, you can say prayers, and what's really special is that you are all, and for some people this might sound like hell on earth and very claustrophobic, but it is pitch black. The stones, the red hot stones that have been in the fire for hours, get moved in. to the middle of this sweat lodge, and water gets poured on them to get that steam up, just like we were talking with the sauna earlier. And that really gets the heat going. And then the blankets keep the heat really nicely. And that happens a few times throughout the ceremony. And you can sing songs all together, sort of like Native American songs or songs from the land, and then people can say prayers, or if somebody else wants to bring a poem, or not bring a poem as in read a poem, as in if somebody has something to say, something to bring, then they can say that, and it's just, yeah, it's really special.
Makes a much more big like ritual and ceremony out of it.
Yeah,
Like you come to actually like release something.
and it's very cleansing as well. If something, a traumatic event happened, then that for a lot of the indigenous tribes, that would be the thing to do, have a sweat lodge. And now it's used, it's still used with that very deep, it has a very deep like ceremonial aspect to it, which is great that it hasn't been lost.
Yeah.
So it's good that you have sort of two different hot therapies that you can go for. The sweat lodge is like has much more of a spiritual and like ancient background, and then sauna is more sort of medicinal, cleansing, healing, that stuff, but has maybe has less of a spiritual background to it.
Yeah, you can just nip in there for 10 minutes
Just
after
nip
the
in there for
gym.
10 minutes, yeah, just pop in and out, and doing them both together, the sauna and the cold plunge is just really great, because your blood vessels are getting that it's almost like an exercise, yeah. They're
Getting
opening, they're
pumped.
getting pumped, opening, contracting each time.
And is there anyone that like shouldn't do it? Is there, what contraindications are
Good
there?
question. Again, not a doctor, not a doctor. And I would always consult a healthcare practitioner if you are worried about it. What my research tells me is that if you have a serious health condition, then you need to be really careful. Heart conditions as well can be tough. But as we spoke about before we started filming, depending on what your heart condition is, if the benefits of the sauna is to open the blood vessels and the cold plunges to constrict them, and what you're getting is an increased blood flow, surely that's going to help the
Gotta be a good
heart.
thing.
Gotta be a good thing. So yeah, and also listen to your body. Like if you're in a sauna and it is, you're going into fight or flight mode and you're panicking,
Get out.
get out. Get out. Don't spend as long in there. Don't make it as hot.
No.
Listen to your body. Pregnancy wise, no saunas. So no saunas for me, sad face.
Although I think in Finland they still, I mean, they're a bit more hardcore.
Yeah,
'Cause
they
it's
are
like their
hardcore.
thing.
There's more saunas than people in Finland.
No way.
Yeah, there are. It's wild.
Some spare for some animals.
Yeah, I know.
Enjoy.
So yeah, no, it for the normal, and also was it what I think with like contraindications and stuff. If you are Finnish and you are pregnant, your lineage would suggest that you're probably going to be okay in a sauna.
Yeah.
If you're very used to something, people say don't try anything for the first time when you're pregnant. Like don't just suddenly take up karate. If you've done karate maybe karate is actually a really bad example. But if you've done lots of yoga,
I literally kicked you in the face
yeah,
at yoga earlier today.
Yeah. Trying to do a headstand, can't do it. Yeah, if you've done it a lot and it feels good in your body, then like with reason continue to do it. But and also where you are on your cycle as well. Men are pretty much like, no offense, like the same every day. Their sort of hormone cycle just continues in the same 24-hour cycle. But women obviously very different from day to day depending on where you are. So like the luteal phase, the part just before you bleed, and then when you are like in your moon, when you're bleeding, would be to avoid.
Because your body temperature, your core temperature is so high.
Exactly. And if you're also trying for children, no cold plunges.
Oh.
Because your body is, you want to keep the warmth in the womb and keep that blood flow, and your cold water would be constricting it and taking it away. You don't want that.
Stressing the internals a bit too much.
Yeah, it's too much of a stressor. It's too much of a stressor.
And Dr. Tracy Sims, she does quite a lot of really good info mainly on how different men's and women's physiology is. And she would come up with quite a lot regarding hot and cold for women. So because women both vasodilate, as in the blood vessels get bigger, and vasoconstrict, they get smaller, at a more rapid rate than men. So we respond much quicker to both hot and cold therapies. But because of that, women in cold water therapy, actually it can shock the system too much. And we talked about our cycles, obviously depicting particular times of our month that are ideal and aren't. But I think because it can shock the system too much, it can actually put the organs and internal functions under too much pressure. So she would actually say that for women, that we don't need to go to the extreme temperatures of like ice baths. I
Mm.
think the range that she said something similar to what you were saying, that range, but I feel like it was like 15/16 degrees,
Yeah.
which, when you first hear that, you're like, oh, that's positively balmy, like a,
Yeah.
a warm bath. It isn't.
No.
Um, at all. But it is also something that's much more durable and you can stay in for longer, and the women will get exactly the same benefits from that temperature as men would from a proper ice bath, with just no need to be stabbed by all the knives.
Yes.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Thank
Yeah.
you, Dr. Tracy.
That sounds about right.
Mm.
We just don't need the extremes.
And actually, I think the hot is what she said would be more preferable for women
Yeah.
because we respond to that faster.
Hmm.
Then it opens and
It's kind of more
everything.
of a,
Feminine.
yeah,
Feminine
isn't it more of a
energy.
feminine
It
energy,
feels
the
it.
heat,
Yeah.
and then the cold is more of a masculine, which is weird because the sun is masculine and the moon, you would maybe describe the moon as a bit
Mm.
cooler, but yeah,
And it's water. So yeah, I mean, we could be wrong, but it feels like the heat is more feminine
yeah.
and the cold.
Well, especially with the sweat logic being like the womb,
Yeah.
and maybe something about it being like the fire and the heart and the like the hearth of the sauna is
And the
feels more
opening,
feminine. Yeah, feels
that
more
kind of,
feminine
yeah,
than
we're
the.
claiming it.
Yeah, okay, it's ours. We got it. But yeah, there's lots of different. So we're doing a sweat lodge again in September for the autumn equinox. We're also doing a sound bath as well, but doing a sweat lodge, um, which will be really great. And the one that we did at Medicine Festival a couple of years ago was a Temescal one, but you could get lots of different um, indigenous styles of the different sweat lodges, which will include different things. But the one that we did was really great. We had a big circle, um, that we all sat round in the woods in Wayson Park, which is just gorgeous, and everybody was naked. So I was just like, this is great.
Oh
I
yeah.
absolutely love just being naked in the woods with
Yeah.
people I don't know. And you smoke the sacred tobacco. I am not a smoker, but it just felt like it's so much a part of their culture, and you just blow your intention into the fire. You don't have to say it out loud or anything, and then you have to. It's very ceremonial the way that you even enter the sweat lodge. It's all in silence. You have to walk around the back of it in a line, and then you go straight in on your hands and knees because
Mm.
the entrance to the sweat lodge is very, very low in order to keep the heat in. So you can't stand up in there. It's all hands and knees, and then you have to just like feed round in circles. Um, I sat on stinging nettles. Actually, Greg
Oh,
sat on stinging.
savage.
This is how savage this is for a
Just to add
husband
to the
point.
pain.
Greg sat on stinging nettles. He was right next to me, and you're literally sat. I mean, you can't see if you're just listening to this on audio, but you are sat on your bum with your knees in your chest, holding onto your legs. There's no. I couldn't sit cross-legged, and then you've got nests on your ass crack,
And you're naked.
and you're naked. There's a bunch of people you don't know in the mud. And Greg was like, I can't sit here anymore. I'm sat on singing nettles. So he moved, and then I had to sit on them because
No.
everybody moved round. So he just left me for
That is
dead.
Gregory.
I
That is the
originally
worst
thought it was
husbanding
ants,
ever.
and I was like, I'm getting bitten by ants. Oh my god, I'm getting bitten by ants. And bearing in mind, the whole experience is maybe 3 or 4 hours. Like you're not in there for 3 or 4 hours, but I think we were in there for about 2.5, 3 hours.
Also, that's an open crevice, like an open orifice of the
Yeah, yeah,
body.
yeah. I
Just
know.
like come.
Yeah, anybody, you. Yeah, and then we had different doors. So every time we'd done, a round of singing, and you sort of, it's those kind of ceremonial, almost like medicine songs that are very repetitive. So even if they're not in your language, after a while you kind of get it,
Got
and
it.
you got it. And you're like, oh yeah, I got this. I can do a solo. And then the door, which is why they're called doors, the door to the sweat lodge opens, and the firekeeper outside will slide in the rocks, the stones,
Okay.
and then the door shuts, and then you go water and essential oils, and then the next door starts, and that's like
And a different door of the sweat lodge opens each time.
no.
Okay.
Same door. It's just the first door is songs, prayers. The second door is chanting, people shouting out. Like in the one that we did, it was really great. The guy said, I want you to shout. The different doors were different stages of everybody's lives. So he was like, the first door is 0 to 10,
Mm.
and then 10 to 30, and then 30 plus.
Mhm.
And he was like, I want you to shout out words that come up for you when you think of that period of your life, the first 10 years of your life.
Mm.
And it was, some people's joy and love and peace, and some people is like scared and trauma and fear. And it's just, you forget when everybody's smiling and they're sat around, completely bollock naked, just smoking some tobacco in the woods,
With
Waiting
nettles up
Park.
their arse.
Yeah, with nettles up their bum. You forget that people have shit,
Yeah.
and it's why people look out for stuff like this, these
Mm.
sort of really hard initiations. And I remember thinking it was probably no, it was 3 years ago at medicine. It's probably one of our first, Greg and I's first steps towards doing stuff that feels like a real big initiation, something that we just don't have in the Western culture. But it's, I think, the reason why a lot of people go out searching for like plant medicine and other stuff, because they've never had something they've had to get through. Like, yeah, they've had stuff that's happened to them, like trauma, but they haven't purposely put themselves in the position where they're going through something that is an initiation.
Mhm.
And I remember thinking, God, this is really tough, like
Mm.
much tougher than I thought it was going to. Not just the heat, being naked. Actually, being naked wasn't hard. The heat and the darkness and the uncomfortableness of it all, being there for so long, like my back was hurting, my knees are hurting. But listening to everybody's pain and just not being able to be like, oh, let's talk about something else. If someone you're chatting to has a bit of a cry, and you're like, you hold the space for them for a little bit, and then they're like, oh, I don't want to talk about that anymore. We had to sit
Mhm. And
in the
uncomfortable.
pain,
Yeah.
the uncomfortable in every sense of the word, and it felt so heavy.
Mm.
But then you sort of, I think it was called a rebirthing to Mezcal Sweat Lodge, because the whole point is that you're going through your life, you're releasing loads of stuff, and then when you come out, it's a rebirth
Yeah.
into this like beautiful space where you're completely cleansed and you've let all that stuff go, and then you go and swim in the lake. It's lovely.
It's like a real honoring actually of the medicine wheel as well, of Native
Mm,
American tribes, and those the archetypes in each period of your life, that the wheel goes through,
yeah.
in that kind of womb space. Sounds beautiful. So are you gonna do one like that, like minus the nettles in September?
I don't know. I think the nettles really brought a
Yeah,
bit of an
well, locally
element
there'll
to
probably be some of
it.
those stingers. What do you
Those
call those? Jaggy.
thistles.
Oh,
Oh, the
the attack of the
thistles.
thistles.
Um, yeah, I mean, Andreas does it differently,
Mm.
as do everybody who facilitates the sweat lodges. I don't think it will be as long as our one. I'm not sure we smoke tobacco either, which is a shame.
That is a shame.
But yeah, it's still beautiful and joyful, and something that, if it's just one of those things, if you're called to do it, listen to that call. If you're listening to this podcast going, this sounds like something I would not be interested in, then it's not for you. Just move
Nettles
on.
not up your hole.
What?
What's wrong with you? You
No.
haven't lived.
Cleansing.
And have you got the date for that one yet then? I know you said autumn equinox. Okay.
It'll be
Useless.
September.
Absolutely
So I
useless.
know, I know.
Okay, sometime in
It's
September.
sometime in
Look
September.
out for it.
Yeah, around the
Um,
22nd, because that's
I
the
knew you were gonna say that,
equinox.
yeah, but I'm at a wedding on the
No,
22nd.
on Monday.
No, that weekend.
That weekend.
So,
No,
oh, you gonna do it during the week?
I don't know. TBD.
Okay.
TBD.
Well, that's exciting. So
Yeah.
get yourself down to that, and feeling that. Obviously, we have the sauna at Lopemead.
Yeah.
that Kathy runs Saundra Experience, so you can go and check that out
She's got some good
anytime.
cold plunges as well.
Yes, she does. I wonder
Um,
what temperatures those are at. Actually, we should.
yeah, I
Must
don't
have
know
investigated
actually.
that.
What is your let's bring this puppy full circle. What is your spiritual thing that you've been up to recently? Because we've got to that beginning.
I have completed actually a year of medicine wheel teachings and trainings with Louise Karen Harris. Finished it
Wow.
on Friday in a beautiful closing ceremony that went on for hours and hours and hours until we all actually couldn't speak. And decided that we should probably end this circle. But it's been beautiful, really lovely. I've always had such an interest anyway from the sort of pagan traditions of the directions and the archetypes and the elements, but to also really dive into the Native American, Peruvian, and Inca traditions. Was just amazing because it's a journey of, well, self-discovery through your life, your issues, but using those archetypes and elements to honor them and help you through. It's just been really lovely. So I'm a bit sad that it's over, but now I have obviously my medicine stones to accompany me through the rest of this experience we call life. What was yours? I know you're going to say
Oh,
Oshella, baby.
Oshala
Can't
Festival.
believe I didn't make it. Tell us.
It was just absolutely excellent. It's the first year we've been, even though we wanted to go for the past 3 years. The dates just never lined up, but it was in Penn Park,
Mm.
which apparently was not where it was last year. It's a
Oh.
new venue, but it was just absolutely perfect for it. I love going from like being an absolute Glastonbury mega fan, which I still am. I think Glastonbury is sensational, but doing these small festivals. So we taught breathwork there on the Saturday, which is amazing. Um, and just everybody is so down to earth. Like Emily, who runs it, Emily and Benny, you can tell how amazing they are as humans because of the hard work and the people that they attract. Like your vibe attracts your tribe and all that, and you can really tell. Like there was no spiritual posturing, which I'm kind of used to at those festivals. There was everybody was like shoes off. It was a beautiful weekend, and just some really amazing facilitators there. We did some African drumming with this lady called Kay. So much fun, so much fun. Amazing yoga, really good breath work, obviously. Yeah, not just me, but other breath work. Great music, DJs, Kirtans, John Darley was there, who
Yes.
we just are obsessed with. He's been to the farm to do our gigs a couple times. He's really amazing at doing kirtan as well.
Yeah.
Emily's kirtan, like it just was a beautiful, beautiful festival. Like really good for families as well. It
Yeah.
felt so safe. Kids just running around. Wasn't too big so that you kind of lose them. You're basically all just in one field.
Yeah.
Great. Greg and I had a great time in the Hare Krishna tent. I just love. They're just the sweetest
They
humans.
are.
And I honestly, like 5 years ago, I would have been like, a Hare Krishna tent? Are you joking? But cut to Greg and I like being the only
Yeah.
people in the Hare Krishna tent singing along, and it made me really emotional. Okay, sort of sure pregnancy hormones, but it's really emotional to watch people who have dedicated their life to something, and the lyrics were up on a sort of a pulley thing, like a screen thing, and it's the same lyrics. Hare Krishna, Hare
Yeah,
Krishna,
that's what I was
Hare
gonna
Ram.
say. Why do you need the lyrics? I'm
So
sure
that
they
you can
just
sing
say it,
it.
but they
Oh,
just
it
say
goes like
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, something
Okay.
like that. So
Okay.
it's sort of like three sections, like chorus, verse, whatever,
Okay.
bridge. Um, but and they have like different, yeah, lots of different people from different walks of life who are all coming together to be, to serve their purpose.
Yeah.
And it was just really beautiful that these people have dedicated their life to it, and
Yeah,
they just
that's
love it
right.
so much, and you can just see them playing their instruments just absolutely in their happy place. And it just made me so emotional. It was just so simple, it seemed, and so beautiful. Um, yeah, it was just great. I'd highly recommend it to anyone. It's a real proper, genuinely proper community festival,
Yeah.
family community festival where everybody is there because they want to be there. Nobody is there because they think it's cool or well, it's very cool, but nobody is there for any other reason apart from to come together. Like you all have to bring your own mugs and plates and stuff, so you're not like there's no waste, which is amazing as well for a festival. Like even if it is small, to not have any waste is
Incredible.
really incredible.
Yeah.
Everyone
Big
was really
shout out
respectful.
to them.
Yeah,
They.
big shout out to the Charlotte team.
Yeah.
Get your tickets next year. Yes.
Oh, thanks, Jess. Thanks, guys.
Great.
See you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.